how to stream to Twitch using Streamlabs OBS. Hey guys, in this video, I'll show you how to stream to Twitch using Streamlabs OBS. Alright, let's begin. I'll guide you through setting up Streamlabs OBS for streaming on platforms like Twitch or YouTube. First, head to the description below and click on the link to download Streamlabs OBS. Once downloaded, open the exe file and run it to begin the installation process. So now that Streamlabs is installed, all I must do is just click Open Streamlabs on my desktop, and you're going to see right here, it's going to open it up like so. It's not really going to be much to it if it asks you guys to log in. I don't recommend logging in, because the fact you want to get more customized with your settings, so what you're going to have access to is your source scene, you're the feed, and on top of that, your sources and scenes. So now keep in mind that the scenes are like the little hubs you keep your sources in. So for example here, this is the main source we got. If we want to add ourselves a video capture device, all we must do is click the add button right here. And then what we would do is go to a video capture device. If you have one, and we're going to add source. This does count for webcams too. So if you do have a webcam, you're going to go through this method as well. I don't have a webcam, so I am just going to skip it. So you can see right here we have our video capture device added. So if we want to just add this, we just close this now and we're all good to go. So for example, here is our video capture device. Now if we want to move this around like so, we can just drag this over. And then if we want to add maybe like us gameplay scene, we can just click on add source. If you have a single PC setup, then what you want to do is click on display capture, because display capture is going to capture the monitor screen that you use normally for gaming. So we're just going to click on add. And of course, we're going to add source and make sure that it's the monitor you use. Normally for a game, you can select or click automatic. For me, I'm just going to click automatic because I only have one monitor for this setup. I'm going to click done. Now the thing I want to keep in mind is make sure the drag of the gameplay is seen down. I mean that scene source down below the actual webcam, because your webcam is going to be the top of your brain. Imagine it as a burger. The bun is going to be your face cam. The actual bottom part of the hamburger bun is of course going to be like your gameplay scene, and anything in between is like your sauces, alerts and all that jazz. So if you have this is like a normal setup, all good to go. But if you want to add your alerts or maybe a video capture device for like gameplay, we can do that, and we can just click on add new source instead. And then we're just going to click on another capture card. So I don't have this capture card here, and of course you want to just drag it to the bottom so you can see it like that. And now I will tell you how to do is add alerts. And what we're going to do now is go back to the tab from earlier, and we're going to click on login. So we're going to log in of course with our Twitch, or you can log in with YouTube, whatever platform you want to use. A kick is not available at this time, but you could do a deadline when you want to. So what we're going to do here is click our Streamlabs, and then we're going to have access to our alert box. Now in our alert box, you'll be able to copy this URL, and I recommend you do this, and that way you get access to the alerts you want to use. And now what we've got since that link. Now what we can do is add a browser source. So we're going to click add browser source. We'll click OK. We're just going to leave it as that. You can call it alerts if you want to. And then we're just going to paste that link. We just got in here. And then once we close this, we should be good to go. So now what should happen if I click one of the alert actions on here? Like let's just test follow, it should trigger an event. So you can see it trigger an event like so. And this is a very old alert I have in mind, but you can see it works. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do next is add your mic. So what we're going to do is go into our settings on Streamlabs. And what we want to do is go into audio. Now when we're on audio, we want to go to the mic device one. And what we're going to do is click whatever mic we have. For me, I have a Blue Yeti. So I'm going to click Blue Yeti Blackout. We're going to click OK. And you're going to see here we're going to get access to our mic. Now there's a few things you want to do before you do use. This is make sure it's not clipping. So what I recommend you do is go into your gear setting, go under filters, add filters or add filter. And what you want to do is add a filter. And we would just add a noise gate. It's just going to make it so that when we stop talking, it doesn't have that ripple effect. So let me stop talking for a second here. Choose, you can see that we don't want that. So we're going to add a noise gate. So that way when we stop talking, it should just go to absolute silence. Choose, you can see that it works perfectly fine. Now the next thing I recommend you do too. If you see your audio still clipping into the reader, I recommend you dial it down just a bit. So that way it doesn't peak or clip. And that way you don't miss that audio. And like when you scream, it doesn't get out of hand. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we want. Now what we've got to do is teach you guys on how to get your stream set up. So that way you can go live. So we're going to go to stream. And what we're going to do here, you can probably have it on defaulted on some other stuff. So what we want to do is go into stream servers. And when we're in stream service, we want to make sure you have it set to our Twitch or whatever platform you want to. And we want to grab our stream key from Twitch. Now that we're on Twitch, what we want to do is go into our career dashboard in our home profile picture and then go under the settings. Now when we're in settings, when we click a stream and live in here, we're going to get access to our stream key. And we're just going to copy this like so. And we want to just take what we got and put it into, of course, our Streamlabs. We're just going to paste that stream key here. And with that, we're all good to go. Now the next thing we need to do is shoot you guys and how to set up your stream settings. So what we're going to do is go to output and then output. You're just going to have yourself on your simple. But what we want to do is set this layup to advanced. So just turn on advanced. And what we're going to do is click on whatever device we have. So if you have an NVIDIA GPU, what I recommend you do is click the NVIDIA NVENC New. And if you have X264, use X264. But you want to use NVENC if you have access to it. Now the big thing to keep in mind while streaming is to keep it on CBR and have the bitrate set up to what your speed is. So we're just going to go into our stream settings, set this bitrate to 6000. That's the best settings we can get at. And if you don't have 12 megabits or 6 megabits up, or at least more than 6 megabits, I recommend you set this lower. If you want to do like an entry level, I recommend just doing 4000 and that's good. So for the time being, we're just going to say 6000 for the time. And what we're going to do is set this to quality, and then we're just going to set this to high. Look ahead, turn that on. And visual tuning, of course, turns that on. With that, we got our stream settings. All good to go. Now the next thing we do is set up our video settings. So if you have, of course, 12 megabits, you want to set this to 1920 by 1920. And of course, you can set this to the max if you want to. It's not necessary, but I recommend if you have the maximum stream settings, you can just do this and then set this to common. Set this to 60. And if you don't have 12 megabits and you have less than that, what I recommend you do is stream 720. And when you stream 720, this is going to be a little bit easier on Twitch and people who are viewing the experience. And then you can also turn this down to, of course, 4000 or 4500. And the reason why you want to do this is because when you strip 720 by 19, when you stream 720p, it doesn't need that much bitrate. So you can just cut this in half if you want to like the 3000, but I recommend you do 4500 if you have access to it. And of course, if you do 7 to 720 courses, your scenes are going to be a little bit smaller, so you might have to move it around if necessary. Now that we have got our Streamlabs all set up, you can see we now have our mic, we have our gameplay, and of course we have a gameplay here. So if I was to start playing something on it, some audio, maybe some like Fortnite, we should just be able to load that up with no problem. And of course we'll see the audio pop up under here to now make sure when you stream your gameplay, of course the clipping thing, watch it. Don't let it go on the read. If it goes right, you need to turn that down. You should aim for it to be in between the green and yellow just a little bit, peeking into the yellow, but nothing more than that. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you can see our gameplay is a bit peaking, so we're going to turn that down just a smidge. So that way we can just be good. So now that we have all our settings all set up, what we should be able to do is click go live from our actual Streamlabs and RNB live on Twitch. So we're going to click go live. We're going to go back to our Twitch, of course, under our dashboard. And what should happen here is just give it a few seconds and we should be able to, good to go. Now another thing to keep in mind too is when you see yourself go live here, make sure to set up your stream to say whatever you want it to. For me, I just have watching and stuff like that. But if you want to do something to customize it, you can customize it here. You can set what category you want to play. I'm playing Fortnite and leave that as is. You can surmise the message that goes out to your viewers and do some other stuff if you really want to. But that is of course how you go live with Streamlabs OBS professionally. So that's it for this video. If you find this helpful, consider subscribing and giving this a big thumbs up. Thanks.